The White House now calling for peaceful protests outside the homes of Supreme Court justices, despite the fact that protesting outside the private home of a judge is against federal law. This while Senate Democrats get ready to vote on Wednesday to protect abortion rights and put every member of the Senate on record as for or against.
Plus, the White House says the FDA is working around the clock to address the nationwide baby formula shortage, and doctors are warning parents not to make your own baby formula. We'll get into that with a pediatrician later on in the show. Very scary for parents out there. They can't find formula. This is the only way they can feed their baby for a lot of parents.
And this is just number 27 on a long list of things that Joe Biden has failed to address. The average family in this country spends $1,500 a year on formula for a newborn.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money right there. All right, coming up in just a little bit right here on Wake Up America, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson will be back with us breaking down the latest on the Supreme Court leak and whether this will affect the midterm elections in November. But first, it is day 76 of the Russian war in Ukraine, the latest attacks on the southern city of Odessa, where Russians fired hypersonic missiles, striking 2 hotels and a shopping mall. Imagine that. Newsmax correspondent Sarah Williamson is joining us live from the western city of Lviv with the latest. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. That's exactly right. And to do that, Russia used submarines, surface ships, and many other types of ways to be able to launch these missiles, these hypersonic Kinzhal missiles, at a range of different locations, including that shopping mall, which you just mentioned, that was totally destroyed there, and 2 hotels as well. Now, firefighters continue to battle the blaze into the early hours of this morning, with one person was killed and another 5 had been injured so far. Now, I was in Odessa late last week, and the deputy mayor actually told me that President Putin, ahead of the war, had said that Odessa was going to be one of these main cities that he planned on seeking revenge from. So this news to me was incredibly chilling when I heard it this morning after hearing those words from the mayor. Now, down in Mariupol, where President Putin prematurely announced that he was going to be declaring victory over the city on May 9, he said he was going to hold a parade with the captured Ukrainian soldiers and civilians, I might add, because Russian forces yesterday, they bombed the bridge that was used to evacuate these civilians from inside Azovstal, and the Azov regiment there have now said that this is a way to cut off the defenders from exiting the area there. And today, that bombing has continued. Now, an unnamed U.S. official has said that Russia has gone through all of its precision-guided missiles and now is just continuing to hit Mariupol with dumb bombs. And over the last 24 hours, 34 planes have flown over Azovstal, including 8 flights of strategic bombers. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but I have to just clarify it again. There are still civilians inside the Azovstal compound. The Ukrainian officials have clarified this earlier as well. They made comments about this last week, saying that there weren't, but now they are saying that there are around 100 civilians that are trapped inside the compound, but they are believed to all be men. But this doesn't take away or discount the severity of what is happening. It is just a terrible situation for the men that are stuck in there, and there just needs to be a way that we can try and get everyone out of there safely at the moment, because it is just getting worse and worse as the days do go on.
All right, Sarah Williamson, thanks so much for the update. We appreciate that, reporting live from Lviv in western Ukraine. Let's go back to Washington now, where it's been days since the unprecedented leak at the Supreme Court. We still have no idea who the leaker is, by the way. This while protests continue outside the private homes of at least 3 members of the High Court, which, by the way, is against federal law.
Yeah, joining us now is the vice chairman of the House Republican Conference and leader on the Judiciary and Armed Services Committees, and the assistant whip for House Republicans, Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson. Congressman, great to see you today.
Great to see you all.
Congressman, it's called Code 18 U.S. 1507, and it states that it is illegal to protest outside the private home of judges, jurors, court officers with the intention of influencing a decision. Why hasn't the White House come out and condemned what we've seen over the last 3 nights outside these judges' homes?
That is an excellent question, Rob, and we are pressing that question this week. We're all returning to Washington today. We've been home in our districts. working, hearing the concerns of the people. These are not valid forms of protest. As you point out, federal law, and by the way, state laws in all these jurisdictions prohibit this. What these crowds are trying to do clearly is intimidate the members of the court. They're trying to interfere with the administration of justice, and that is a blatant violation of the law. Where is the Department of Justice? Where is the FBI? We want this to be investigated. We want the law to be administered here, and that's the big problem. So we're going to file a resolution in Congress, a little breaking news for you guys this morning. Later today, we'll be filing a resolution condemning the violence and the vandalism of these pro-abortion activists, and also these intimidation tactics, because this is getting way out of hand.
Yeah, AG Garland hasn't issued a statement yet. When you just mentioned what you're doing, what does this exactly mean?
Well, we're going to get the members of Congress, certainly the Republican conference will come on board, and we're hoping some reasonable Democrats will join us as well. Everybody needs to call this out. This is interfering with the administration of justice. This is a very dangerous precedent. The leak was an unprecedented event, and now the events that follow. What this is doing is undermining the people's faith in our institutions, and that is really the ultimate threat of all this. The Supreme Court has to do its work without regard to politics, without regard to intimidation, and I think these crowds are trying to do something very different. We have to stop this. Congress has a role to play. We need to let our voices be heard, and on the Judiciary Committee, we're going to be pushing the Department of Justice to do its job.
Yeah, this is really shocking. You think about Justice Kavanaugh. He's got 2 young daughters. Imagine having that outside your private home, where you're just trying to have dinner, and this is taking place outside. It's really been shocking to see, and the fact that nobody's condemning this on the left. Yesterday, the National Senatorial Committee, the NRSC, advised Republicans running in tight Senate races to downplay Roe v. Wade. Do you think this is going to have the effect the left is envisioning come November?
No, I don't. Listen, as I mentioned, we've all been in our districts. I did many events throughout my congressional district in Louisiana over the last several days. People in Louisiana have deep convictions about the sanctity of human life, and we need to speak with clarity and conviction and consistency right now, as we always have. But I'll tell you what's going to drive the turnout in the election in the fall. It's inflation, illegal immigration, incompetence of the people in charge of Washington. They see what unified government under the Democrats is doing for their pocketbooks, for their security, for their opportunity. Now for baby formula, everything is a crisis. And I think that resonates with hardworking American families. That's what's going to motivate them. And I think we're going to have a massive red tsunami election.
Yeah, Congressman, why don't we know who the leaker is yet?
Great question. I think that there is some work being done by the marshal of the court, of course. We've expected the FBI to be involved, but I think they'll get down to the bottom of it. There's a very narrow, small window, number of people who this may be attributed to, and I think they're narrowing that down, and we'll find out. And when we do identify that person, clearly, as everyone has said, they'll be disbarred from the practice of law. But I think that they took that risk, whoever it is, because they want to be a lion of the left. They want to be a martyr for the cause.
Right.
Well, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, have a contributorship at CNN or something like that. Only 36 law clerks. I don't know why it's taken 8 days, but I feel like the further we get away from this leak, which was last Monday, the less likely it seems that we'll find out who this person or people are. But hopefully we do. Congressman Mike Johnson, good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Have a good morning.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.